Right, I will be alone for the first part of this commentary, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here at Austria and we are preparing for qualifying ahead of the sprint, and then, of course, we'll have the full race. Uh, my co commentators should be joining us shortly. Uh, yeah, sorry about that pause. I was gonna have to set up for my co commentator when he does join. But, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Austria. We are currently looking over the pit wall at the moment. Just sorting some stuff out in the background. Just bear with me. Right, so we're back. We're just looking over some cars, but the Mercedes crossing the line right now puts him up in P3, so it's a 104.9. So it's a good lap, but not good enough. He's 4 tenths off from the car ahead, from the car in first, I mean, and that's the McLaren of Jan. And we're still waiting for the co-commentator to arrive, but you guys just have to live with me at the moment. So we got 3 different cars, not in the same team, in the top 3 currently. Jan with an absolute stellar lap of 1.4.6. Pretty hefty for a banker, if you ask me, but you know, these guys are pro series after all. We got a few people from Challenger 1. We got the winner from Challenger 1, which is Rocco. Didn't step a foot wrong in that race, and we'll see what he's gonna do in that Red Bull. He's filling in for Bradley, who doesn't have a wheel at the moment. And Percy Gully goes pole with a 104.5. His first lap, pretty rapid, pretty good. So we got a couple of new drivers as well. We have Ahmed and we have I think. Well, Gamma is doing his debut in the other Red Bull. He has had his time of a 105.3, so that's the difference between Challenger 1 and Pro Series. So obviously there is a bit of a gap there. Gamma B is usually stronger in race pace rather than qualifying pace. Jump on board with him. Looks kind of slow through that section. Doesn't look like he's pushing on this lap, really. Is he going into the pits? Yes, he is. Alright, so Rocco is currently on a lap. Let's see if he can upset his temporary teammate now that the Red Bull boys haven't showed up for this race. Rocco getting P2 in Challenger 1. Is there anything to upset the top 5 at the moment? He slows down before the line, that's interesting. Well, it says he's already done a lap, so maybe invalidated the lap before. Or it's just Codemasters doing its own thing right now. We'll have to see. So Persigelli currently holding the pole time, separating him with a 10th from the car behind, which is Jan. And also a championship contender. Bradley ideally wants to get back to racing as soon as possible. His wheel is currently not working, and it broke through overheating, according to some drivers and Bradley himself, I think. Not too sure, but that's the reason why Bradley is not performing today. Ooh, as the rear end steps out and giving way for that Aston Martin of Cameron. Cameron heading into the final corner now. What time will it be? Here is a place where you could easily lose the car. Crosses the line, and that's P3. So Ergodog getting pushed down. And so does Gamma B. And there's 8 minutes left of qualifying until the sprint race that's going to take place. And the sprint race is 12 laps, if I remember. Challenger 1 had a race here last week. And next week is going to be a break for Pro Series if the admins doesn't decide to fill out the week with Italy, round that they did miss due to poor attendance. There's quite a huge gap from the one in P1 and the one to P9. Almost a minute separating them, but I don't think that's an actual time. As we see Cameron boxing, Rocco is in the pits as well, so he must have invalidated a lap. Persicular crosses the line again to start another lap. That car looks really hooked up into that corner. I didn't say anything. I did not say anything. Persigilla losing his rear ender, not by commentary curse, and giving way for the Alpine in the back, and that's Ahmed, I believe. No, that's Emre Boss. Ahmed is about to start a lap, and Emre Boss is actually had a bit of a spin himself. Let's see what Ahmed can do. Ideally, ooh, as the rear end steps out there. It's a 106.5, so he's still 2 seconds off the pace of the leaders at the moment, and this is his debut, I believe. Let's see if Emre Boss now having a bit of a moment into the pits. In the Alpine, tires overheated. Not really fun to drive. And into the pits he goes. Right, so we only have a few minutes left of qualifying. And Rocco heating up his tires, and this looks likely to be his final run there. There is a yellow sector 2. That's just them going slowly. Alright, Rocco, the winner of the last round in the AlphaTauri, being upgraded to a Red Bull for this race only, and we'll see if he turns up any more times. There he goes. And I believe that's my co-commentator joining. Let's see if we get the audio right. Hello? I cannot hear you, my guy. If you're talking. Oh, right. That's fine. Give me a quick seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, are you there? Nope. Not yet. Fixing up the mic. Alright. Well, we get back into the action. Oh, he's sorting his stuff out. And Rocco seems to that he invalidated again. 3 minutes left on the clock. He technically can go into the box again and switch for a new set of softs and do another out lap. It's gonna be a bit risky and a bit tight on time, but if he does a quick out lap, he can manage. But he goes again. Not a good qualifying run so far for the race winner. Car looks nicely hooked up there. And Helmut Marko is having a keen eye on Rocco, the up-and-coming prospect for Red Bull Racing from AlphaTauri in Challenger 1. Let's see if he can put in a good time here to challenge any of the top 5s. And just to clarify, 3 in a row, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Okay, now I can hear you.
Cool.
Oh, welcome to the commentary box.
Thank
So
you.
we're about to end qualifying and well, sprint and then a full race. How have you been today, bud?
Good.
All good. All
We're
good.
at the day.
Well, so this is the first partnership we had in the commentary box. We've not commentated with each other before. We've not talked to each other before. And Rocco having a interesting retirement on track. You can see the screen share. Everything good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, Persigelli currently holding the pole up at the moment. Riffler giving space for his teammates, so maybe they're going to work together. And so far, looks like clear skies for the race, don't you think?
You hope so. Austria, I've done some races in the wet before, and they're always very chaotic. And whilst sometimes chaotic races can be good, they're not always the best for racing.
Chaotic races from our point of view is always good. I love to see the chaos. I love to see the dangerous move that people go for, because sometimes that's the only moves you get given in a race. So I'm hoping for a mixed condition race. So far I haven't heard any peep from any driver talking about the weather, so it might be sunny skies till the end, but fingers crossed it isn't for content sakes. Already today, by the way, I've already commentated Percy Gelly. And
Oh god, what have you said?
I didn't say anything, I just panned to his camera and he spun. It happened last week, and not gonna lie, it might happen more often than not, but we're currently on board with Riffler, currently on his lap at the moment, P7 for the pro driver, and let's see if he can make any changes to the top 5. And so far the sector times doesn't look that bad, but also not enough at the moment to challenge the top 5. He isn't improving actually, he's 500s off the pace. Let's see if he can do anything in the penultimate corner and final corner, and that's a bit of a late turn in my opinion. Let's see if we can hook it up in the last line here, and that's not enough to improve, so that's his final run. Cameron has improved by 1,000 of a second, and that's the qualifying grid for the sprint race. Do you think we're gonna see more or less the same in the sprint, or do we expect some big changes? Because personally, the sprint doesn't really, especially during the start, people will get a bit too trigger happy going for a move, and turns out that wasn't the greatest move, and that certainly happened in Challenger 1, and people end up spinning or crashing or losing a wing, ruining their whole race. And well, I don't know how much you raced, but from experience, have you done any sprint races?
Yeah, I've done quite a few actually.
And majority good or majority bad?
Mostly bad. I mostly end up getting taken out in them.
Yeah. So, like I said, people might get a bit too trigger happy into turn 1, wants to get that position for the race, and yeah. But the McLaren has taken pole with a 104.3. That's a solid time. 104.5 for the Flying Finn in the back of Percy Gelly, and Phoenix, United Kingdom, AlphaTauri 104.5. So two tenths off pole, and Percy Gelly being 1/10 off pole. And we'll see how much that's gonna translate into race pace. We'll see how it's gonna end up for the drivers, and finger crossed. I'm currently doing the rain dance in the commentary booth. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm hoping for rain. I've done some sacrifices as well, so we'll see.
It would certainly make it interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, not there is no DRS, but there's definitely more action. As some drivers have said, it makes the field a bit more close to each other, and it looks like it's, sadly for us, good for them, clear sunny skies. I'm gonna keep doing my rain dance. Maybe it goes for the full race.
Yeah.
Finger crossed. So far though, from looking from qualifying, who do you think is the driver to watch at the moment?
Well, the obvious answer would be the pole sitter by almost 2/10, but I reckon the AlphaTauri could throw up a bit of chaos if they get a good start off the line here.
We'll have to see. There's 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights here in Austria. Lights out and away we go, and Percy Gelly gets a great start, already side by side with the McLaren. McLaren losing a position already, and AlphaTauri is being challenged by the Aston Martin in behind, and everyone looks to get away pretty well. There is one Alpine there who had a bit of a struggle in the back. They're still side by side into turn 2, and the McLaren has been given space from the Mercedes, and well, here we're going into the into corner 3. Let's see if he can keep that position. The McLaren challenging him just enough, side by side, and well, clean defending so far and clean attacking. So far, so good for all other drivers. Sadly for us, but for all the drivers, good enough.
Yeah, no Hamilton-Albon incident occurring through turn 4, and I'm sure the Mercedes would be happy that that didn't happen.
10 seconds penalties. Or was it 5? I don't remember.
I think it was 5, I don't know anymore.
Well, Persigelli is leading into the second lap, and we'll see if anyone is able to challenge him during the sprint. The sprint, of course, being only 12 laps, and the Alpine is sort of hanging on in the back there. And we see them on board the McLaren not using ERS, so he's not planning to do a move right now. He's just building up the battery, waiting for the perfect moment when the ERS does enable. And yeah, we'll have to see. Talking about turn 2, I've had a lot of drivers talking toward... Oh, just missing the gearbox there. He was close enough there to draw up the gearbox model in the dashboard there and send it back to the McLaren factory, and it's like, here's what we need to do to improve for Saudi Arabia. But there was no touch there. Anywho, turn 2. People have complained to me that my driving style is mad. People are saying that I use too low gears, which I seem to be the only driver that uses first and second gear. And people say that I can be a lot faster, but honestly, I feel pretty decent because I still end up P2. I still end up winning races. So I mean, clearly I'm doing something right.
Yeah, it's working for you, so why change it?
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unlike Mercedes Zero Pods this season yet again, and of course, in the current state of the Mercedes, they're not really challenging for anything. The car seems to be quite sluggish in the corner, in my opinion. And we see Jan having a bit of a look inside, or maybe just wanted to take a close look in their gearbox, just trying to fix the problems they have back at the factory. And we'll have to see. Phoenix has been unable to challenge as well, and we see actually Rocca has been making up a position since his poor qualifying by his standard. He won last week here in Austria, and right now he's behind Gamma B, who actually finished 5th, I believe. We'll have to see. Well, the Red Bull of number 38, I believe I saw. Persigelli sets a new fastest time. Phoenix says, no, that belongs to me. And right now it's just a train of the RS, because no one wants to make a move at this point. Everyone wants to save their ERS, and it actually looks like Gamma B has dropped quite a bit from DRS and team orders. Helmet Marco, hello. Having a bit of a call there. Oh, as they get ever so close there. We don't want to see a Daniel Ricciardo Max Verstappen in Baku, don't we?
You're gonna want team orders at that point.
I'm just begging for something to happen as Rocco goes down the inside of his teammate. Is it gonna be a Red Bull on a Red Bull thing here in Austria? To see. They're still side by side. So far so clean from both the drivers. Rocco obviously has a lot more pace at this stage of the race, and it looks like Gamma B is happy to let his teammate pass for now and maybe build up some of his battery on his own. And now Rocco is the leading train for this little DRS train, and we'll have to see if he can make any changes to the top 5 later on. But as of right now, with no pit stops, it looks like it's all said and done, unless there is some fireworks happening at the front. And
McLaren has dropped down to 4th.
Yeah, I just saw that. So Jan obviously had a moment there, and he likes to investigate gearboxes.
He loves that late braking.
Yeah. It makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. Yeah, I'm at the edge of my seat here, because the McLaren is my car. You know, it's my team I support, so totally not biased there. And something happened to Ahmed towards further back there, and just a loss of traction out of the corner, and I think that's race over unless there's a safety car for him. We have to see. Persigelli is still leading with a happy gap to the car behind, and he has more ERS as well. So everything is going to Mercedes' plan at the moment, and I'm definitely not setting them up for another commentator curse. We'll have to see. As there's a Rebel Rocco having a bit of a spin there, and he's out from the race. Sector 3, yellow flag. Is that gonna be a safety car? Michael Mass is checking all the data from the Red Bull. He's seeing a Mercedes leading the race, so he might trigger the safety car. No.
Question.
No, here at Power F1 we like to pour salt into, fan community's wounds. It makes me happy.
I feel like a prime target as a Mercedes fan.
Well, how's the 0 pods working for you?
Yeah, not that great, clearly.
The AlphaTauri now, as you said, might do some moves in the start. Not the start exactly, but he's doing it later on in the race as Jan seems to have dropped further back. Does he have damage to his front wing? Would not surprise me a bit. Looks intact to me.
Saw the Aston Martin go round at turn 2 as well, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Cameron having an okay race for his standard at the moment. He, of course, a Fink challenge for the win in Bahrain. Sets a purple sector 3 to shut me up and what I was going to say about his car. And DRS is enabled for him, and he looks at the Ferrari of Brissink. He looks around the outside. Brissink doesn't put up much of a fight there, unless he's going to dive it down the outside, I think. But thinks better of it. Lives to live another day. You definitely do not want any damage to those bathtub side pods. That seems to be working for Ferrari until the engine broke down in Bahrain, breaking millions of hearts, and that actually is a bit of damage, talking about that, to the front wing of the Ferrari. No end plate.
Oh yeah. I wonder where he got that from.
Ferrari is definitely on a budget this season. That front wing is made out of cardboard. I am pretty sure of it. Anything to shed weight. As we've seen a coming trend for F1 teams, that it's a pretty dark grid this year, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of paint that's come off the cars, and I think some teams have started out, but others haven't made it as well.
Let's see if there's gonna be any paint scraped off that Mercedes right now. Seems not. So even with all that paint saving that Mercedes has done, and this is not a dig at you or any Mercedes Mercedes fan, just getting it out there so people don't show up outside my apartment with pitchforks and torches and whatnot. I'm not a Mercedes fan, but I have nothing against them. It's more like that. All I want as an F1 fan is a 4-way battle for the title, and it seems to be a 2-horse race at the moment for Red Bull in Bahrain, which might be painful for some Mercedes fans at the moment, knowing that the black livery made a great return. Just not the car, sadly.
Yeah. Not as great as a return as they'd have hoped.
It's like a lottery scratch ticket, They just revealed what's under the hood of the Mercedes, but there is no prize under it, and Mercedes having yet another problem this season. Let's see if they can claw it back from last season. Of course, the big question mark from last season was porpoising. Gamma B retires from the race as well in the pits. Seems like he had damage, has nothing much to fight for really. Sector 2, Sector 1, yellow flag, and that's Ahmed again spinning, and his P9. Emre has a penalty, so not a good race for Alpine so far.
No. A lot of spins coming out from them too.
Yeah. I bet one of them, or all of them, feels like they should switch to Aston Martin and hopefully get a fighting car.
Yeah. Less engine issues as well.
Exactly. 2 laps to go, and we are here with the top 3, who hasn't really changed that much other than the McLaren dropping back and dropping further back in the real life grid as well. Going for the move on the inside of the AlphaTauri. makes it stick as well with a good exit. AlphaTauri has nothing to do about it. And Jan has used up most of his ERS actually, so there's a big question mark whether he can challenge the Mercedes. We'll have to see. Coming towards the SS now, we're 2 laps away from the qualifying positions for the actual race that is 36 laps. We'll have to see. Jan right now, I think he desperately needs to save up some ERS.
Yeah. Even with the tyre wear that Mercedes will have extra on the McLaren since it's been up there at the front, if you don't have the ERS that Mercedes might have been saving up, it's going to be tricky to pull a move onto him.
Exactly, but he's already challenging him now in the penultimate lap with the DRS open. It looks like he got a greater exit than Persigelli, and he's going around the outside. Red light blinking as well. It's a McLaren versus a Mercedes. Where have we seen this in esport? Lucas Blakely and Jorn Opmeer, of course. And the McLaren looks like he wants a move to stick. He's burning the ERS but has nothing to challenge the Mercedes. He tries to go there around the outside. Persigelli gives him enough space. And, well, in the SS there is not really an overtaking move. But now, with the limited amount of ERS he has in his bank, he has cashed out a bit too much there. And I think that he might be in danger of Phoenix.
Yeah, it's going to be all about that exit from turn 1. Has he used too much of that ERS to make a charge into the first place?
Yeah, absolutely right on that. Let's see if he's going to pull off any kind of move. Red light blinking. It's not that great for the McLaren at the moment. Of course, he had to fight back after that previous incident that we did not see. I just think that it's broken until he managed to fix it. Did you see Piastri's pit stop in Bahrain, by the way? He needed to boot up his own, like, it was like booting up a PC in his dash on his switch wheel.
Windows XP has failed.
Yeah, exactly. And Persigelli actually blinking as well. He has no ERS left from defending. And, well, it looks like they're gonna be a bit unable to challenge him as well, because it's not really overtaking corners. Ergodog is right there looming in case someone gets a penalty. And he Diori wants someone to get some penalties at the moment, but doesn't look like there gonna be any penultimate corner now, and they're approaching the final corner. Everyone is blinking red from what it seems like. And Persigelli crosses the line to win the sprint, but that's not where their big points are won. Cameron in the Aston Martin finishes 5th. Riffler in the Ferrari finishes 6th after the heartbreak in Bahrain in real life today. And the Ferrari seems to be celebrating that. Cardboard front wing. So don't worry, it won't impact the budget too much.
That's not going to be great for the budget cap.
No. It's made out of cardboard. All they have to do is make one trip to IKEA. So, yeah, there we have the grid for the race. And looking from that race, who do you think is the most standout driver?
Percy's defense there from the 2 incoming McLarens and AlphaTauris was really good, especially on those old tyres that he would have had.
Yeah.
So maybe they can hold it in for the race.
All right, you heard it here, Mercedes team principal George. He cursed them. I did not. I haven't said anything. So if you're gonna blame anyone, blame my co-commentator, because I'm just here sitting in the back, just having my mouth quiet. Here we have the grid.
It's not my fault.
Top 8 is getting points, of course, and the rest of the grid, which is P9, 10, and 11, won't get any points. Doesn't matter though, because the 2 Red Bull DNF'd in the opening laps, just like they did in last year of Bahrain. Of course. It's
no one's safe from you.
No one is safe from me. That's the thing, if I'm gonna bash any team, I better bash them equally, because then they can equally be angry at me, but also they can't blame me, because I'm just doing my job here. and it's fun to laugh in
Your
pain
rain
sometimes.
dance. Your rain dance might have come through. There's some clouds hanging around these hills.
Yeah, I got too tired to do the rain dance, so I hired a couple of dancers from my local theater to do them for me, and I'm paying them hourly, but they've only danced for 30 minutes, so that's half a check for you. You get half my signature on the check for doing half the job. Here we are after the sprint. 5 lights, Mercedes on pole, and it lights out, and away we go. And the McLaren is having a better start off the line, and both of them on hards as well. Going into the turn 1 as well. Oh, the Red Bull had to cut the corner there, and the Mercedes going quite wide there too. Oh, as we see Ergodog spin. We see Ergodog spin, but quickly jump into the action at the front. Persigelli defending from the McLaren. The McLaren seems to have the jump on him, and the McLaren is now leading the race after getting the pole position from the qualifying. And Rocco was disqualified from the session for breaching the budget cap. I have no idea. It was the catering's fault. Believe me,
We can only hope.
it was the catering. So Persigelli is now second place, and Jan is leading the pack right now, and Jan has burned some ERS to get a gap on Percy, and Phoenix is looming right behind, and Ergodog has lost out quite a lot of positions from being P5 or P4, I don't remember, and he's already that far back. Let's see if he is able to accomplish anything at the end, like Mercedes did in real life. I'm comparing a league race quite a lot to real life. That's because I don't know, it's fun. Anyways, we see a Red Bull versus a Ferrari. Where have we seen this before? In Austria? Leclerc versus Verstappen. Let's see if there's any. Oh, is that a bit of an outbreak? That is a bit of an outbreak from Gamma B. And lost out the position to Breezing anyways. I think that's ABS talking. Just like, nope, we're not dealing with that. You're just gonna run wide. That almost looked like an F1 manager type of crash. Because the car doesn't seem to slow down. Yeah, exactly. So Gamma B lost out that position to Breezing. Cameron is just waiting there. Persigelli lost the position to the AlphaTauri actually.
God. The curse is coming through already.
The curse is coming through already. You're absolutely
I'm
right.
gonna lose my job.
Maybe. So Gamma B already on a penalty, maybe for extending track limits, and I can promise you 100% that Christian Horner would have debated. No, he just used all the track there in corner 2. He didn't extend the track. He just grabbed a waffle from the grandstand. That's all he did. Cameron, a bit further back from the train that he would have been like, I believe, and Phoenix actually pulling out the moves here, challenging the McLaren. And I can say that Phoenix does not need a booster seat like Sonoda to see out of the cockpit. McLaren still leading. DRS has been opened this lap as well, enabled. And let's see, that Red Bull looks a bit twitchy on the corners there. Did you see?
Yeah. Didn't look happy at all.
That's the rear ends having a bit of a overheating moment, maybe after that little incident in corner 2. And let's see here now, DRS is gonna be open for the AlphaTauri. Is Jan gonna defend this? We just have to wait and see. Phoenix going for the move around the outside. Jan defends the inside, but that doesn't matter anyways because he's already passed. Oh, well done.
Clearly, I got my predictions wrong. Clearly, I should have bigged up Phoenix for the race and not the sprint.
Yeah, exactly. So even though there's not a Red Bull leading the race, there's still a Red Bull leading the race, the sister team. And the Mercedes fan are crying enough to to actually increase the problem of the oceans rising around the world.
Okay.
Gamma B, a 3-second penalty.
Another penalty.
Yeah, so he got one from the sprint, and now he got one from the race, but he's actually in the points in the Red Bull.
It's the
Sector 2
second
and
one of the race
3,
as well.
and that's Armour Boss having a moment there, and Gamma B is already in the pits,
And
and he's retired.
oh,
So he said, nah, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
clearly they thought the FIA was against them with the track limits.
Exactly. No, that's well defended, according to...
Moving in protest.
He saw the catering from Red Bull being so expensive that he wanted a taste of that.
He wanted to join Rocco on the all-day feast.
Exactly. What was it? 10 million on the catering? My guy. I expect lobster every weekend. And nothing less than lobster. If I get like a steak that's not cooked right, I want another steak from another cow. Because I think that's the cow's fault.
A whole new cow.
Exactly.
That's where their budget went. All of the cows for Max.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Checo Perez, you know, being in Red Bull as well, maybe want a bit more alcohol, tequila, in his everyday travels. And talking about some alcohol, we see that, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Phoenix going around the outside of the AlphaTauri. Now we have a Mercedes-powered engine in the front, and that's McLaren. Last time we saw that was in Monza, or if you're referring to Power F1, last time we saw that was 2 races ago, where yours truly won the race. Hi.
Yes.
I'm not hyping myself up. Definitely not. McLaren is a mad good looking car though. And that's not bias talking, I promise.
I do like it. Little bit too much black on it, but you know, gotta
Yeah,
take
yeah.
that weight.
Exactly. Legit, everyone
Picking up all the black.
everyone knew that Mercedes was going completely black, because everyone knew that people needed to shed weight, and that was the only way to shed weight, to get rid of paint.
Yeah.
Literally, the design team of Mercedes, great job scamming the Mercedes team. I mean, you've truly earned your money through designing the car, just like Red Bull does every year. But I mean, I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, they must have saved on the paint and the budget cap as well, so there's a positive.
Yeah, exactly. No catering service here breaching the budget cap.
You don't need to feed anyone, there's no one working on the car.
Well, Jan is still leading the race, and he's leading by 5/10. And as we already sort of, well, I internally suspected there is going to be some kind of DRS train until the very last couple of laps, because that's how it goes in Austria. Has always been in Austria. The leading car always seems to have an advantage on the corners, and the car behind can't catch up in the corners unless there is a straight. But by then they will lose time anyway. So this is how it usually goes. And the AlphaTauri, I get nervous every time they get that close, man. I get so nervous.
Yeah, this is
You-
like...
Just drop
One
a
lap
banana
after
peel.
it's done.
Oh! He goes for the move. It was a bit half and half there, if whether he wanted to go for the move or not. And Jan keeps his position, and that battling must have helped Persigelli a bit to catch up with the pack. And Cameron, it's a 4-way battle for the win, with no penalties separating them as well. Ergodog being the lonely little Mercedes in the back. You know, I spoke to the Mercedes team earlier in a VC, and the team principal said, if either of you end up last, I swear to God you get fired. A certified Netflix Drive to Survive moment. Phoenix.
Power F1 edition.
Power of Fun edition. Well, all they have to fight for is $100, I think. So it's still something. Ergodog having a bit of a moment there. I saw a yellow sector. Is Phoenix going for the move again? No. At this point, open up the dashboard, open up a drawing tablet. Or a Netflix movie in the dashboard for around 30 laps. No, 25 laps or something. I've put up some Drive to Survive.
Inspiration, maybe.
Exactly. Build up that scenario in your head that you're part of Drive to Survive. Makes it a lot more epic. Think that everyone is against you. Talking about Drive to Survive. So, you must have seen Drive to Survive, right?
Yeah, I've seen
even
some
last
parts,
season.
Yeah.
So, I've had the funniest thing with my friends talking about Drive to Survive is that Toto Wolff, throughout the whole series, wore his team uniform, the shirt with all the sponsors. And that episode where where Max won the championship, that is the only episode where Toto Wolff did not wear his team uniform. And he actually turned into a villain. He wore a black turtleneck.
It's his fault.
Yeah, and we sort of made a meme out of it. We just we had that picture of him sitting in a black turtleneck, call it grief, and then had it for a profile picture and whatever. We just memed it a lot. Point is, I just love whenever the production team asks does Red Bull have a target on their back next year? And then Toto Wolff goes, everyone has a target on their back next year. It aged like fine wine because it ended up with them actually having target, the whole grid that is having their target on their backs because Mercedes was in the back anyway. So it's it's just it's just a wonderful scenario as a neutral of the sport. I don't care.
Really.
I don't care who wins. Yeah, I don't care who wins. It could be Ferrari, McLaren. Ideally McLaren because I'm a big fan of them. Zach Brown is like a dad I never had.
Your Lord and Savior. That's who you pray to every night at the end of the bed. There's a picture in the frame.
Exactly. But I don't care who wins. It can be Mercedes. It can be a Red Bull. It can be Ferrari. But as long as there's a fight for the win, I do not want a dominant era of Red Bull. I do not want a dominant era of Mercedes or any type of team. I want a genuine fight like F2 for the win for everyone. And talking about fight, AlphaTauri having a bit of a look there in the back as well. Sector 2 and Sector 3, that Ahmed again spinning. Oh no, that's Emre Boss.
The Alpines. That is Ahmed.
Oh, it is. So basically it's saying, even if we put a rocket ship in the back, we'll still be 11th. Well, in this case, 7th.
7th, yeah. Unless the Mercedes has something to say about that down the main straight.
Yep. I have wanted them to put in porpoising in the game. Just it sounds terrible now in hindsight, but if they would have put porpoising in the game, that would have made it a hell of a lot interesting.
In your driver career, you have to solve the porpoising issue. yeah, that I'd actually want that because you gotta find the right balance about speed and ride height. I actually talked about a couple of guys earlier before the race. Imagine a 20-player career mode, like it's the whole grid. Leagues would have a good day, That actually would be really interesting as well, because then you'd see how the cars would develop on different things and the drivers would...
Exactly.
Yeah.
people would develop their own philosophy of the car. You know, there will be engine penalties, and the standings will already be made before, you know, you don't need to do anything. So it would be really interesting, and Codemasters, if you're listening to our little stream right now.
Here's a list of suggestions for F123.
Exactly. So let me just get my notebook.
maybe for F123 they'll bring in the porpoising. Instead of calling it breaking point, they call it bouncing point, and then you have to fix it.
Bouncing point. The whole story mode goes with them just like trying to solve porpoising.
It's just Toto Wolff bursts into the office. He's like, "Right, guys, I've got to fix the problem with the car." You're like, "I don't know what to do."
Yeah, no, that'd be hilarious. But also, I would probably not play that game. I'll be honest with you. You know, funny
Make it
thing.
Zach Brown.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, a funny thing about the current game. So obviously, the current grid, like real life grid, is a second faster than last year.
Yeah.
This game, the pro drivers, the Bahrain pole time in real life was a 1:39.2, whilst the Pro Series and Challenger went into a 1:38.52 ish. So even though people are complaining about the current game being like, you know, the car is sluggish and whatever, we're still a second faster, yeah. So can't wait for next game. If people are complaining about the drivability of this year, then I'm sorry to break it to you. We're about to get slower. Slower turn-ins. Hopefully the grip is good though. Not the run hard kind of grip, but you know, some kind of grip. I'm not gonna bring any controversy into this league. The cheaters the cheaters that we know of have we have banned. Cause
you'll end up jinxing it.
we had that problem before, but it was not a grip hack. It was more of a logging into someone else's Steam account and drive for them hack.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, because that's totally fair play. And obviously that's really hard to police until you got the proof, which we did. Anyways, not gonna jump into that saga again. That's the reason
situation there.
Yeah, that's the reason I won my second championship, because the team I was fighting was changing out the drivers. At that point, what's the fun of league racing if you're not gonna drive the car yourself? If you're not gonna win on your own merit, then why would you league race?
I mean, you know, you can't even flex that to anyone either. You know, if you just go, "Oh, I'm in a league, but I don't race." Like, huh?
You know the funny thing, they actually did flex about the win.
Not even them.
Yeah, it's so sad. But yeah, well, they're not here anymore, so we move on from that. The team principal in the chat says "Go Merc Go," even though one of their drivers in P7 in no man's land, and Percy Gelly is there and thereabout, having 100% ERS, not going for the move because that would waste a lot of his ERS. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna start doing the rain dance myself at this point. So we got a Mercedes, Red Bull, Mercedes. And if there's a safety car, Mercedes. Well, Aston, technically, but...
yeah.
So, what do you look for the next couple of... the next game, actually? Because, you know, I watch a couple of F1 YouTubers, and some of them have insight to the next game. And they have said that there's a lot new features to be excited about. Take that as you wish, because the last time I heard about an exciting new feature was us having basically an IKEA shop in F1
Yeah.
life, because
I
that's
feel like we get told this every year.
yeah. But to be fair though, they haven't said it, in last game about being an exciting feature, and the YouTubers I do watch has been outspoken about how the game is currently. So I do not believe it's a you can change your couch thing. I think there's more to it, but if
Never
it's
know
much,
EA.
I don't know. Yeah, at this point, next game you can buy your own apartment. That's the new feature. First, you need to
Slowly
rent.
turning into like The Sims.
First, you need to rent the apartment, and then when you get into a bigger team, you can buy the apartment.
Well, I think that would be quite an interesting thing to implement into career mode, actually.
And as people start to pull off
Ooh.
the trigger here with the pit stops and Jan going for the undercut on the rest of the grid, and so does Phoenix as well. The tires they're going to change to. It could be soft, it could be mediums, but they're going for the yellow striped tires. That was a really quick pit stop. I don't even think the mechanic put their...
Alright, hold on, can we
tire.
get... Oh, wait a minute.
VAR on that.
Yeah. That gap looks like it's gotten bigger as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. And Jan heads out in P4. Clean air, might I say, as well.
Almost 4 tenths lost in the pit stop. That work by the McLaren is incredible.
Yeah. Oof, the cross the line is not good. And that might be reportable as well, because, you need to follow the pit entry line. But I think there is a debate about that wasn't said before the race, so we'll have to see about that. So Persigelli is doing the overcut right now, and you could see that he was flashing red light. You see, he followed the line in, so the FIA is off his back.
Who was it that might not have? Was it the AlphaTauri?
It was the AlphaTauri and the McLaren.
Oh,
So both cars.
okay.
So that's the yellow strap tire as well, and he's out of ERS, and we see Jan actually heading into the start-finish straight. He's there now. Persigelli is on the exit of the pit lane right now. We see the McLaren going past. Is the AlphaTauri going past as well? Yes, it is. No, actually, side by side on colder tires though, but one lap fresher tire for the Mercedes. Side by side, and I think that's fair defending. Very well defended by the Mercedes.
Yeah, that's a great move up the inside by Percy.
Yeah, and he's still flashing, so he desperately needs to get into the RS within Jan. Otherwise, that could set up the race for the McLaren driver. Of course, he hasn't hit traffic, and there's a Alpine there. Alonso is not happy. And there's a retirement on track.
Oh.
That might trigger a little green safety car if Cody's wanted it to. Let's see, sector 3 now, yellow. The car is not stationary yet, from what I believe, and it is against the rules to retire in the race if you do not have terminal damage. So, no safety car.
Yeah, and looking at the Ferrari here into turn 2.
Yeah. Talk about safety car. You want to know a very funny experience I've had in this league, like ever. So,
Yes.
there was this driver, right, in Baku, where he triggered a safety car by standing still on the track, like purposefully.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah. And the fact that he said, I mean, if this was real life, my car could have broken down, my engine could have stopped. It's like, yeah, but it's not.
But it didn't.
Exactly. If I'm not mistaken, that doesn't happen in league races.
There's no engine failures here.
Yeah, exactly.
That Ferrari looked like it went over the pit exit line there. Entrance. You can.
So
Might
Mattia
have been me.
Binotto is going with plan H. whether how many plans there is. Do you actually think that all the drivers memorizes their strategy? Like Ferrari is known to have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I don't know how many.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, if you're getting to like Plan Z, then you're like, which one was that?
Yeah. So Persigelli has actually dropped some time to Jan, and Jan, I believe, might be burning some ERS to stay ahead. So Persigelli is in a bit of a trouble right now. No ERS. So the zero pods is not working for him either. The car does look a bit more draggy than the cars around him as well. Purely out of setup. So he might be running more wings than the cars around him. Because he was losing out on the straight. Let's see what he can pull off in the next upcoming laps. I got a question for you. Is it James that I call you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright. So, how long have you been racing in F1? Because obviously you've had some experience with this game. So how long have you been racing with F1?
Probably since F1 2014, I think.
2014. So you're an OG.
Yes.
Any championships under your belt or anything? Or any experience league racing prior 2004? Prior 2016, I think. Yeah. Or did you just start league racing, around 2018, 19?
Yeah, I think it was 2019 that I started my league racing. Got 2 championships since then.
Very nice. We're equal then. But what I was gonna say, F1 2010 league racing. I've been racing for 10 years. I'm a old boy, and people keep calling me grandpa and whatever. Jan has a penalty to his name. 3 seconds.
Ooh.
That is big. Alright, but basically you could have engine failures in league racing, because if you stuck to the car behind you for a long period of time, your engine would overheat and it could actually just break down. Prior 2015, I think, in league racing. So
2015, really?
yeah, prior to 2010 upwards, you can. Yeah. So I've had 2 DNFs. I remember. It was on Xbox 360, and I was behind a car, couldn't overtake him, and I had my car on rich fuel mix and everything. Engine overheated, and then you see, the engine shutting down, no power, and then you retire. That was the thing back then.
Could you imagine getting that now? The amount of damage you'd have to do to your engine in a 50% race to retire.
Personally, I think you should be able to do that, because it wasn't damage. It was more a color code. So you look at the engine. It was like a heat map. So
yeah.
It was yellow and then it turned red when you were overworking the engine. And actually, if they brought it back where the engine performance would get affected by you being behind a car for a long period of time, I'd actually wouldn't be mad or disappointed that they added it back, because it would make racing a lot more interesting, in my opinion. Because then it's a bit more tactical than just staying behind someone in DRS. Because then you actually need to make a move in an amount of certain of time. Otherwise, you need to back off and cool the engine. Take an alternate line to cool the engine.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like the real OGs did. But yeah.
Although, I think I do remember a couple of years back. I'm not too sure when it was. It might have been F1 20 or F1 2021. Where they added your engine performance going down when you've been in rich mix too long and your engine starts overheating.
I think that might be 2015, 16, and 17. I think any engine-related issues disappeared after 2018. Because then they were focusing more about the new philosophy of the car. Of course, the Halo got added 2018 as well. So I think they put a bit more effort towards that. It seems like Codemasters cannot multitask when developing a game. So if one feature is getting added, the rest of the necessary features are not gonna get a second thought. Hence, we got couches, we got paintings we can put on the wall, and apparently I stuck a supercar in my living room, according to the game. Just normal F1 things, F1 life, because that really, really does showcase how F1 drivers actually live.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's safety car in his carriage.
Yeah, exactly. And he lives in Monaco as well, on the top floor. So how he got his car up there, I have no idea. But I was excited when they announced F1 Live. But I got very disappointed when they revealed it was about changing couches and paintings. I was thinking that you have to, like, deal with, maybe like breaking point where social media people would talk about your performance, for example, and like rumors happening. Have to deal with like media obligations as well, etc. Like what an actual F1 driver have to go through. Are gonna get a 3-second penalty, and I didn't mention it, but I did see Persical get a penalty as well. So unless that gets removed, because if you get a warning when you are battling someone and you get pushed off wide, that warning can get removed as long as you don't get multiple warnings after that. That's how it rolls in F1. But yeah, I thought that you had to deal with genuine F1 issues, like media appearances and whatever, improved interviews maybe, and as Cameron, Aston Martin. Let's see if he makes any move here.
We're gonna see a Mercedes on the inside of a Honda engine at turn 4 again.
Yeah, simply lovely,
No
we say to that.
contact.
He's on medium tires though, so he can extract more out of it. And now the leading Mercedes car is seeing an Aston Martin behind him. And last time we saw that was in Bahrain. And dear Mercedes fan, James, what did happen in that race?
I can't seem to remember.
Oh, really?
It's gone from. It can't have been that important.
Yeah. All I remember is like a big letter word that says L plan. And talking about penalties,
Cameron's got a penalty as well.
Cameron got a penalty to his name.
Oh god.
And Aston Martin probably will breach the budget cap to remove that penalty as well. So, moving on. No one is safe from me. I'm on fire today, man.
Yeah.
After I saw the first race, I'm just like, I need to roast every single team.
It's after everyone.
Exactly. No one is safe
No
from
one's
me.
safe.
Exactly. Maybe that's also just the hunger speaking, because I haven't eaten anything today, and that's very off topic from the actual race going on. Because what we do have is Phoenix being in the fight for a win here, even though he's on the slower tire. But the tire is going to come to him in a few laps time, where his tire will be the better performing tire because of the long extended what can you say, tire life that the hard tire has. Let's see if that's gonna make anything towards the end. Say something about the Alpha Tire. I just did, if you just read it off the comment. Yeah, the Alpha Tauri might have a chance here for a big finish and upset the whole grid, actually.
The only one without a penalty now.
Yeah. The only one who hasn't breached any budget caps.
Felix being a good boy in the track limits, clearly.
Yeah.
AlphaTauri don't have that room in their budget.
I mean, AlphaTauri seems to be surviving on a paper thread from time to time. Because they get their revenue from the Red Bull energy drink as well, so... And let's be honest here, like... Who actually does buy AlphaTauri clothing line? It's I've seen no one wear an AlphaTauri
I've
clothing.
never seen anyone wearing AlphaTauri clothes.
It's yeah, I've never seen, and I don't think I've ever will see anyone wear any AlphaTauri kind of merch.
I don't even know where you buy it from. Is it online? I don't even know where you get it from.
Most likely online, yeah. So Emre Boss getting another 3-second penalty. Ergo Dog is gonna pit, and I believe that's gonna be for the fastest lap. Because Ergo Dog has to get to Emre Boss in the back, and it is the soft tire. So like I said, one simple mistake, one pit stop, everything can change in this race because of the massive DRS strain that is getting produced from this track. And thankfully, they will have a break next week. But Singapore comes after, and Singapore, I love that track. It's my guilty pleasure. I've said for 4 years prior to F1 2021, I think, that I hate Singapore.
What changed?
I just lied the whole time. That's the thing. I loved it. You know, everyone else hated Singapore, and I kind of felt left out. It's like, oh yeah, shit track. And then I just banged in pole positions after pole positions. Like, you sure you hate this track? Oh yeah, definitely.
Lucky.
yeah, exactly. Crap track. So yeah, let's actually see the gap, because I think that is going to be a bit more important to the leader. So Phoenix is 1.3 seconds away from the leader, and the leader is having a 3-second penalty as well, and Riffler is having a 9-second penalty. Yikes! 9-second penalties ends your hopes of anything, really, doesn't it? It's like,
wow, at least it wasn't as bad as Gamma B.
oh, you'd be 1 minute of penalties.
I think he had like 11 and 5 laps.
Yeah, Ocon took inspiration of that from to Bahrain, and decided to do the same. Half a second. So if we're gonna get an award out for the most amount of penalties collected in a race, I think that would be it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but penalties used to be a lot more like it would be normal to get a penalty in a league race.
Yeah.
Like in F1 2019, 2020. It's just 21 decided to die down with penalties, I think. Because I remember me having 13 seconds of penalties, and I still finished P5 in F1 2019. And that was a competitive grid. Like, people got 6 seconds, 12, 9. It's...
Yeah, F1 2021 was really weird with its, like, penalties. It was really inconsistent.
Yeah. And now the Mercedes team principal, instead of looking over his driver, he's checking in on what I've eaten today, and he is correcting me that I have eaten in a VC today. Well, I did, but that was a bag of chips, and I don't think that would count as dinner, unless you're a poor college student, which, that's a whole different topic as well. Oh, Jan having a bit of a moment there. A bit loosey-goosey towards the end there, and he's actually have no ERS left. It's playing into Phoenix's hands if he wants it. 3.9 seconds separating them right now from the leader.
2 laps to go. Phoenix is going to have to start making some moves if he wants this win.
Yeah, cut every single corner you can and hope for the best. Like a famous Fernando Alonso said, I've been racing for 10 years now. This is my 10th year in league racing. Maybe I retire and become FIA boss. Only time will tell. Maximum penalties for everyone.
Everyone gets a penalty. Didn't even do anything wrong.
Exactly. You have you get a penalty for being in the wrong car.
Yeah, that's what you get for driving an Aston Martin.
Yeah. Right. 1 second, 1 lap to go for Mr. Phoenix to grab the win. And that would be a big upset. That's already 6 tenths now. That's half a second within half a lap. 1 lap to go after this. Oh boy.
You wonder, the other two trying to. Oh, Riffler.
Riffler.
All he had to do was survive a little longer.
Oh.
Oh God. What has happened there?
That will buff out. Yes, yes, get some tape.
Some more cardboard.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow, I seem to have cursed the AlphaTauri again.
That gap has got bigger again.
Yeah, it was a 3.6 separating, and then it grew back to 4 seconds, and now it's 3.5. Cameron making a move on Persigelli. Persigelli doing a defense here. Let's see where that's going to end up. This is not going to help Phoenix at all, this battling at the front. They practically built a wall for the AlphaTauri there, while the McLaren still have free air, but he has the DRS though. It's going to be really close. It's going to be to the line. Right, so Persigelli is still defending from the car behind. Let's see here. 3.5 seconds, 5 tenths to find in the final corners for the AlphaTauri if he wants to win. It's still 3.5. It's 3.4 now. Approaching the final corner. He take the warning. Take the warning. Jan crosses the line and enough to keep his win. Phoenix, on the other hand, finishes P2. Persigelli drops down to P3, and Cameron drops down to P4. Breezing a minute behind of the pack, and that gets to show you that DRS is everything in this track. It is key.
Absolutely.
And also it didn't help with the damage earlier on, I think.
Way round for what must be like the 6th time this race.
And Ergodog finishing in style in 6th place, like that's something to be proud over. And Brisick.
Ergodog's good at it now as well.
And Brisick crossing the line. We see Emery Boss crossing the line as well in the Alpine, the Ferrari, saying hi to his pit wall. And that's the race, ladies and gentlemen. So, it was some action, not a lot of action, but nevertheless, it is a race around Austria, and that's usually how races in Austria go. Phoenix, listening to the hate that will come his way for not getting a penalty. So, from this race, Mr. James, so, is that what you expected?
For a track like Austria, I must say, it was very predictable, as unfortunate as it might be.
I'm gonna start doing my rain dance right now, 2 weeks in advance for Singapore.
Oh no, not the rain at Singapore. I've had that before.
Oh, it's
Does
amazing.
Not end up well.
It's amazing. Every single thing about it amazing. Although I DNF'd once in Singapore, and that's where, under the tunnel.
Oh god.
You know what happened in, there was this glitch earlier on in Baku where you would hit the wall and the wall would glitch out?
Oh, yeah.
That happened in Singapore to me, and I was just driving my normal line, and that wall just completely punched me into the other side of the tunnel and had no say in it. And that actually fixed the wall problem, because that wall stopped glitching after that. And I was the only casualty from that. I'm still a bit salty about that. It's still, one of my core memories that I think about. Just, if that ever happened again, I'd sell my wheel.
Retire on the spot. Do a Rospo.
Exactly. I beat my teammate on equal machinery. And then I will retire. Well, that was the race, and of course I'm gonna need to do a big thank you to the commentary team. Well, that is me and Mr. James. Thank you for joining us again. Well, again for the first time, but with that awfully beautiful profile picture that you have there, that you wanted to represent you. I absolutely love it. I am a cat person myself, so that really, warmed my heart, and I knew immediately that I could have some laughter with you. Not one of those very very serious commentators, and that's the way I
Must do my
like it.
job.
But that's the way I like it. It needs to be a bit casual in the commentary box, otherwise it's not as good as it possibly can be. Need to be a bit
Yeah.
of banter here and there. So yeah, a big thank you from Mr. James, and of course, Pro Series will be back in 2 weeks' time. If not, it will arrive next week, where the missing race will be taking place. That will be Monza, and we'll have to see if James is going to return to the com box or not, or if he wants to stick to Rocket League. I do not know. But yeah, from me, myself, and Parafon, and Mr. James here, thank you for us. And James, thank you for joining the commentary box, and we'll see you later.
Yeah.